whisper ramble is going to be, I hope it's not too scattered, but I had the topic of anxiety in my mind, in my mind, in my mind, in my mind, in my mind. Breathing is not too intense. I think yesterday I cooked them have a little bit too much. Obviously, there's still going to be room for progress, but bear with me. And I wanted to talk about some anxiety. Okay, hopefully this can bring some comfort, some comfort, some comfort, 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 with some mouth sounds. Yeah, and I want to talk about anxiety. Okay, so I'll ramble about my anxiety. I don't want this to be a super, super long video, but I do want it to be comforting and talk a little bit about it. So I used to have anxiety. Well, I actually still do, but I don't think I have it to the extreme that I used to have anxiety. I definitely have less of anxiety as compared to before. I used to have really bad anxiety to the point where I would feel physically sick, physically ill. I would get like tension chest, chest, in my 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 chest, and I would tense up and I would feel like tingles, 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 tingles in my chest, my hands. I would feel like numb, like a numbing sensation, and I do not doubt that my blood pressure would be up and down, and I would just feel really nauseous, really, really, really nauseous, like to the point where it would scare me. I might make a video now that I'm thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it. Phobia, emetophobia. I think it's phobia. So P-H-O-B, emetophobia. Where would trigger my emetophobia? Basically, like a fear of being sick, but it was, yeah, I might do another whisper ramble on that because I feel like not a lot of people talk about that. And yeah, I want to be as authentic as possible when it comes to being more personal, more open, authentic comes to me, myself, and I, and some of the things that I've overcome. So yeah, and anxiety, started as a little girl. Never really knew where it came from. I just knew that my anxiety was intense. as a kid, I felt like isolated because of my anxiety. As an only child for a decent amount of time, and the people that I spend with adults, I've always been. I don't mean this in like a conceited or cocky way, but I think being around adults also made me into like a little adult myself. I felt isolated because of my anxiety. It would make me feel isolated and kind of lonely because my anxiety would kind of block me from around, being around, being around, around certain people. And by the way, for those of you who don't like mouth sounds, I hope to get a different mic, and do like tapping, whether it like different triggers. But bear with me for now. Your girl's working with what she can. That probably sounded weird over the mic. Sometimes my voice makes me cringe over the mic. Anyway, and it would make me feel isolated. I would legit feel super like just low about myself. And that was you, or if that is you, regardless of your age, I want you guys to know that you are beautiful, beautiful, inside, and out, inward and outward. Those feelings, whether it's again from past or recent past, I want you to know that they're validated, okay? But yeah, I definitely felt that way as a kid. And I think the thing with anxiety too is that sometimes you don't even know where it's coming from. You just feel it. It's a very gross, low feeling to feel anxious. And I throw anybody under the bus, but if you know, you know, okay? Your own family sometimes, okay? Your own family, loved ones, may make you feel bad for feeling. I almost did a soft spoken. We'll do a little bit of soft spoken. But what I was saying is that sometimes family can even make you feel bad for feeling anxious. I remember my family, which that's a topic for another day, but some family, now that I look at it, are karmic. And they didn't believe in that, I don't know how many of you guys are going to relate to this, but I come from a household. Where mental health, or just like things like, talking about it is not very prioritized. And I feel like it made my anxiety worse, and it made me feel like, oh my god, I'm a complete weirdo. Like, what's wrong with me, right? So yeah, and let's go back to ASMR. We'll go in to soft spoken and out of soft spoken and ASMR, like whispering. But yeah, but due to my family, thinking that I was weird and stuff, I also think it brought a lot of feeling like I was always different, which I don't know if anybody else agrees, but as I'm getting somebody who experienced anxiety, anxiousness, you know, a bit less isolated, or you never felt like you fit in, because you are different in the aspect of you might be the version of a generational breaker, generational cycle. You know, as I'm saying that, I sometimes feel like I'm also meant to break that generational cycle of prioritizing mental health and like dismissing it or making fun of it. Because no, we don't support that. We don't support that here. We only give comfort and kindness here. Kindness here. And the crazy part is I say that I'm starting to see it, because I used to think in the beginning of my journey, I used to think that generational cycle breaker, like people that break the cycle, I used to think it was things that were major, like extreme stuff, like the heavy stuff. But I mean, everyone that's a generational cycle breaker may have something different that they needed to break. It could be from minor to pretty major, right? But yeah, guys. Also, I'm chewing some gum, but I don't know if you guys can hear it. Anyway, I may not chew the gum too much like that, because I know some people don't like gum chewing. It's a trigger. But yeah, and it made me feel isolated. Now that brings me forward into dealing with anxiety. And it would go off and on. Sometimes my anxiety would go away and I was fine and I was okay. And then I remember in high school, okay, so fast forward to high school, I rambled a little bit about like being a kid and having that anxiety. I mean, I still had a decent, I still went out, I had friends, but I definitely did worry about my anxiety making me look weird. In a way, it affected my self-esteem a little bit. But yeah, going to, sorry guys, I'm like laying, I'm like sitting somewhere. If you guys see this right here, material, it's my blanket. But yeah, fast forward into teenage years, I started to get anxiety again, and it would get to the point where I would go into the nurse's office every so often, and of course, the nurse and people around me, friends. Oh, well, my friends didn't really know, because again, I didn't want to embarrass myself. I felt sometimes even dumb going to the nurse's office, because the nurse, I think one time the nurse even told me, like, you're here again. What's wrong with you, right? She might have thought I was just doing it to anxiety out of nowhere. I actually don't remember too clearly, but I believe it was the week of Thanksgiving. Random bolt of anxiety to the point where it reminded me of how bad it looked during those times where I was saying, right, I would go to the nurse's office slash when I was a kid and I would get like the jitters, and it was so bad, so bad, and that actually is what brought me to my spirituality. I feel like it was the stepping stone, and even just being an anxious person, which I'm not too sure, but I believe, I know some of you guys might know more than I do. My brujas out there, my beautiful brujas. And by the way, bruja is a witch, but I don't mean it in that way, okay? My high priestesses, priestesses, slash Seraphant, you know, my spiritual people. Which I don't care, by the way. I don't want to hear no comments of, oh my gosh, she just said witch, like, oh my gosh, let me click off. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Being honest, I do not want to hear it. So fair warning. But anyway, that's what brought me to my spirituality. I feel like that was a stepping stone to my spirituality. I feel like a lot of times anxiousness sometimes can come from also like channeling, right? Channeling messages or getting an intuitive download. But of course, like I was saying earlier, when you're breaking generational cycles, and I know I didn't talk too much about that, I feel like I'm still learning what that is, so that could be in the future video. I'm still on my own path learning as time passes, but I feel like when you're in a, sorry guys for the confirmation, someone in the background, if the mic picked it up, just said that's weird. So there you go. The hearing that in your family, there you go again, sorry. There you go again, like in family, being told that these things are weird and blah blah blah. Confirmation, I love when synchronicities and signs come out like that. So yeah, I feel like anxiety was a stepping stone for my spirituality, because during these times where I would get so anxious, I legit, hopefully you guys are not able to hear the TV too bad. I plan to end this video soon, and I'm sorry if you guys can't hear background noise, but I would get so bad that I couldn't sleep. I literally would feel sick from like morning all the way to like the middle of the night, or like right when I was getting ready to sleep. That's when I actually felt better and was even able to eat, right? Because my anxiety, it's different for everybody, but for me, it's always made me feel sick, and it made me feel so anxious. And I don't know where this anxiety was coming from, because prior my to graduating, I was fine. I was okay, but I feel like, again, I keep saying it was a stepping stone to my spirituality, because during these tough times, randomly, one time, literally randomly, like when they say that the universe will, throw something in your face, not literally, okay, metaphorically speaking, or give you a sign of something, it's there for a reason. And think it was nighttime, and I ran into a reading. Now, I knew nothing about my own sign because, interesting, fun little fact, I'm born on the last day of Gemini, right? So, I didn't even, I never really resonated with like what most people would consider my sign to be just by looking at it, which would be like Cancer, but, and, you know, I have a Cancer Mercury, right? So I'm not gonna say I don't resonate with. Well, actually, I feel like I guess I can have a little bit, maybe like in the way I communicate. Like I communicate from a point of emotions, but I embody a lot of Gemini energy. Besides that, I'm a Gemini rising, so shout out to my Geminis. But I didn't even know about signs, and I don't even remember what the reading was about. But I felt guided to watch it, and since then, I got into spirituality, and we are now in 2024, halfway into 2024, and I started this journey in 2018, like the ending of 2018, going into 2019, and it's been an interesting journey. What spirituality has taught me, everything from generational cycles to mental health, right? Because I feel like spirituality also includes mental health things, or it gives us a perspective why we may be feeling or thinking the way we are thinking. I've literally interacted with some amazing people. Again, like I was saying earlier, like my ASMR people that sometimes I feel like they don't even know how much they've helped me, or how much they help, or they don't even know how much they have helped, or to the extent that they do. Same goes for my readers, my spiritual people, because they have, in moments of matters of the heart, and love, self-worth, and, I don't want to get emotional. I'm not gonna get emotional, damn it. But genuinely just feel like anxiety, sometimes even just you being like the oddball, or feeling anxious, right? Maybe as a kid, there was a scenario that made you feel anxious and you were gaslighted or told, like, be quiet, or just exaggerating. More than likely, if it made you feel that way, you are either breaking a cycle in your family, whether minor to major, it's valid either way, or you are meant to getting spiritual or learning about spirituality, I used to listen to frequencies, and little did I know I was even listening to them. I remember I would listen to music for nausea, and it's just crazy how sometimes you look back and be like, oh my gosh, I did this, or I was intrigued to this or that as a kid or as a teenager or a couple years ago or days ago or weeks ago, however. And it's like the universe already giving you that, like you already start to embody whatever you're meant to lead or to talk about or to share or to change, right? And yeah, so I'm gonna leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed this ramble. Again, I know there's room for improvement. I hope my breathing wasn't that bad. And hopefully the quality can start to get better and maybe even have a better setup where I can do, like, I've been wanting to do